Hello, it's Christine from the channel Christine and Celeste, and today I'm doing a video response to Simon from Two Spirit, and it's about my top 5 peep decks. Now I'm getting ready for March of the Peeps, and I already got out all my peep decks, and I'm really excited to be using them in March. And it's with Kelly from the Truth in Story. And so I put together my top 5 peep decks. Now, I have some Marseille decks, but I never learned tarot in France. I learned tarot in the UK. And so I never really used the Marseille as such. So for me, the Marseille is more of a study deck more than a favorite or deck that I use. I'm not very traditional in decks. I like what I call decks with a little twist in them. So you won't see any traditional decks here. The closest to traditional is the first one that I will show you, which is a French Marseille type, and it's Le Tarot Noir. It's a medieval Marseille type. Now, there's been a lot said about the book. It does fall apart very quick. It's a beautiful book, though, the illustrations, but at the same time, you know, it's nice to have these illustrations, but I'd rather sometimes have more text on why they chose to use certain illustrations in the cards. The artist is Mathieu Acquier, and Justine Turner is, I think she brought the concept of the tarot together. They only, as every French traditional deck, they mostly talk about the major arcanas. There's a tradition in France with the Marseille to read with major arcanas only. They do have a very quick description of them, well, not even a description, pictures of the minors. There's no text with it. Now the text for the major arcana, so that's how it is in the book. The text is more based on, not on the meaning of the card, but on the history of you know, the usage, for example, of the sun in the card and the moon and the star and all that. Also historically about the devil and all that. So it's more a book like that. There's no spread, if I remember well, at all. It's interesting to look from a historical point of view, although it's very summarized. But personally, I don't use it for reading. As you probably all know, the cards are extremely oversized. They're beautiful, gilded. The back is gorgeous. This is really my favorite Marseille type. I've had a few. I still have a couple of traditional ones, but this is the one I use the most. It's, I don't know, it's got that kind of Trionfi de la Luna. I don't know, you know, this type of dark imagery, which I think really suits it. Obviously, all the names are in French. Still very traditional, right? I'd like to show you some minors. There they are. They've been shuffled. You still have things to go on with it. So obviously here you will read more with numerology and then look at how, for example, here for the pentacles, how they're placed on the card. I'll show you some more of minors. Yeah, the sword, so it's very much like the Marseille. And I do love the colors. The colors are beautiful. It's dark, but it's also beautiful. And the wands. What did I show you? and Pentacles. The figures are absolutely lovely too. Look at that horse. Show you an ace. So although it's dark, it's got lovely colors too. So there's a lot to go on for a Marseille type, even a dark one. But you need big hands, and I do. So I'm fine. So traditional, big size, the back is not reversible, but then I prefer these with the Marseille type because I've noticed when it's reversible on Marseille type, some of them, I don't know which ones are upright or reversed. I'm not an expert enough and I can get confused, so I'd rather it is like this. The next one I'm going to introduce is I can't remember what it's called now. You know, it's the Mystic Meg Tarot. It's been renamed, but I can't remember. But what I remember is that it's Caroline Smith who did the illustrations, and the book is by Mystic Meg. The book is not bad. It's more geared towards fortune telling though, which is not my favorite thing, but we all need a good fortune telling book. It's okay. It's for each card they show, you know, they even show the elements, so at the start, but really it's how to tell fortunes. Yeah. And that's the Fool. So they've changed a few names and I'm going to show you. So you've got love reading, life reading, and it's the journey of the Fool, which I found interesting for a fortune telling book, that it is actually the journey of the Fool. It starts like this: who the Fool meets, and then lucky reading and cosmic counsel. We have same for minors, right? So it's pretty good. So they're pips, obviously, that's the point of this video. And then there are some sample readings. I think for someone who starts with pips, it's not a bad book. You know, when you're a beginner, obviously after that you want to go further. But for a beginner, you can make sense of it, really. And I find it okay. Now, there's a few spreads. There's another, nothing, you know, 12 card live spread. The 3 card spread. Nothing very different, but it's okay. It's all right. So I'll show you the cards. Now, with the cards, that's the backs. When I received them, I thought there were these ugly cardboard. You know, it's a cheap deck. Honestly, for Caroline Smith, it's the cheapest you can find. It's that cardboard film. Is it? Can you hear it? Yeah. But I mean, as soon as you look at the illustration, you're like, oh, love. But I must say, with usage and refill shuffling, it starts being a bit more flexible now and actually more pleasant to use. So I'll show you a few cards. They've changed a few names. The Hangman is now Self-Sacrifice, which I don't like because it's more than this. But, you know, it's a deck for everyone, and I suppose they didn't want to upset anyone, whatever. The Fool is beginning. It's more than this too. But look at the illustrations. I mean, if you do like Caroline Smith art, it's a cheap way to get some that is still in print. Devil is Temptation. Death is Changing. Once again, with wonderful illustrations. On the major arcanas, you have the astrological sign and the elements. Now for the pips. my favorite pips are air. It's elements, which is great. I found that, you know, for this type of tarot, that they actually chose to go with elements rather than cups and swords and all that. And my favorite one is air because there's directions and you can see, for example, the difference between the 9 and 10. I'm trying to hold them straight. And you can see the birds are going in different directions, and that gives you some, you know, here they're all going towards the past, but here on the 10, it's half from the past, half from the future. It's really balanced, and it gives you an indication. So I like that. It's not the case with the others. They're a little bit harder to read. As you can see, the 5 of fire, so you really have to see how they were stacked up together on the card. The 2 of Earths. So it will always be the same tree, always be the same fountains for water. And then you have the court cards with the elements again. It's only the element of the suit, it's not the element of the card itself. Like for princess, they didn't put, the fire princess, they didn't put fire of water, right? So, but you know, I like it. I like this deck. I use the others more than this one because, as you know, I'm a big fan of Caroline Smith and John Astrop decks. But it's time to use this again, and I really enjoy it. Anyway, the next one, I wish I remember they recalled it, but it's the Mystic Meg Tarot. I just push it on the side. The next one is one of my latest acquisitions. It's the Nomad Tarot by Jennifer Drento. And let's talk about the book first. I must admit I didn't learn anything in the book. Now, is it a deck for beginners? I would find it a little bit difficult to begin with this, or you would need really help with numerology and understand the elements too, because otherwise I think you would get lost, as in on most minors there's no name, so you have to guess the element. It's not that hard, but you know what I mean. When you're starting, you have so much to focus on that, to me, it would be a little bit difficult to start with this tarot. But then, you know, if you fall in love with it, then it's your tarot, then you will read it. So anyway, let's start with the book. It starts with the major arcana. So it's black and white. As you can see, it's upright and reverse. Then the minors. There is a quick numerology guide, which is nice in this instance. And then, for example, you have all the fire. So that's why it gets a bit confusing, because butterflies are fire, so you have to remember that. And as you can see, there's only the numbers on the minors and no name. But, you know, you learn that quickly. Then it's the same. It's about... there's no more picture, it's a group picture, and then it's upright and reverse. I can't remember if there's I think there's a couple of spreads: past, present, future, Celtic cross, personality card, and that's it. So pretty general book. I didn't learn why she chose these elements, or why she chose this animal or this person for that card at all, which is a big shame. Nonetheless, it's a fantastic deck. It's my favorite back of all time. tie-dye type. It's nice. I was wondering if there were a bit, I'm not, I'm not a cardstock specialist, but they seem like plastic. They've got that reflection of plastic. It seems that they will last forever. I didn't see personally chipping. I don't know if, I think some people do have, not on mine yet. So I wanted to show you a few cards. The normal sized, the lovely High Priestess, Magician. I don't know why I like it. I can't tell you. It's just a feel of the deck. I feel it suits me. But I can't explain why, really. So the aces too. I didn't see any name change in this one. But there is a change, is that the aces got all the elements of the suit, and they have the name of the suit on them. Then when you get to the 2 of water, 3 of water, there's only the number on it. So it can be a bit confusing, because if you think about the ace as the spark, all of a sudden here you have the whole suit, right? So you have to be ready for this when you use this deck. But I do love how the elements are placed on the card. It really gives you indication. It's like a path that you follow. You can start wherever you want. You can start at the top, or you can start here, and then you go into these paths and spiral, and it's a soft deck. Black and white, obviously. Another ace. It's crystals for earth, which I love. That would be the queen. That's the king of fire. And the queen of air. So just a nice general type peep deck. Another example here. The 4 of earth. So obviously you need numerology and then imagination, because you have to wonder why there's a big crystal and then there's a couple of clusters, I think, and you have to let your imagination run with this a little bit. So not the easiest to read, I must admit, but one I really like. It came in this bag for me, so I don't know what edition it is. I didn't check that. The next one is one I purchased not that long ago too. It's the White Sage Tarot. So it comes in this box. It's a lovely box. It's by Theresa Hutch, and obviously it's self-published like the Nomad Tarot. I forgot to say this, self-published. The others are published by publishers. So yeah, the box is nice too. There's a little booklet. It's very small, but she does say that, she said, seeking a way to balance the hyper masculine energy in our culture with a soft, strong and feminine deck. It's true. It's very soft. It's the softest deck I have. Then she starts with the chakras, and you will see there's ribbons on each, on some cards, not all. And then you can read the color of the ribbons. So it's also a color deck, although it's very soft, you will see. So it's all the minors and then the major arcanas here. So upright and reversed, with chakra correspondences, as you can see. The deck. So it's animals, very biblical. I don't think there's any people on it. I didn't show you the back. Oops, sorry. That's the backs. It's all the ribbons, isn't it? The cardstock is on the thin side, really. King of Swords, beautiful. So here we get into the ribbons, like the Nine of Wands. So you see you have 9 wands and then this pink ribbon. You can see our copyright is on the card. I don't think it's in black, so it's not like, but it's there, right? The borders are very white here, but it's okay, it's only at the bottom, so that's fine. We're not gonna fuss, are we? But we are fussy because we've got a lot of decks, and I think the ideal deck is the one you're gonna make one day for yourself. So the 5 of Swords, and you can see here the ribbon's been cut off, and I do like that. And you wonder which swords cut it, and is it the big sword here from the past? And then the 4 from the future, trying to prevent this one to attack. I mean, there's a whole story here, and I like that. There's a lot to go on for a Pip deck, right? Same with the 4 of Pentacles here. And this orange ribbon. It's like the Pentacles are in a desert. They've been there for a long time. It reminds me of Egypt. If you've ever seen pictures of the Sphinx used to be buried in the sand for a long time. And there's old pictures of it. You can just see the top of the face and of the body. So it reminded me of that. So to me, with this 4 of Pentacles, I would think of an old issue, right? It's not anything new because the sand had time to cover it. Also because it's the orange chakra. I think it's orange. Sometimes the colors between red and orange, I'm not sure it's so soft, but I think it is. And so then you could read with the chakra and the pentacles. And the cups. So with the added element of water here that you can read too with the cups, how the cups have been stacked up, where the ribbon is here, you see it's the infinity sign. So for a soft Pip deck, there's actually quite a lot to go on. I'll show you a few more because it's a lovely deck. You know, I use it when I need a soft read. It's well done. I just find it a bit funny that animals, for example, have cups. You know, it's the whole decision of making it elements or cups, swords, and you know that was a decision. But this addition of ribbons is just it's really nice. It gives you, especially if you read chakras like me, it really gives you an indication, further indication of what we're talking about here. Doesn't it look like a film reel? Reel, I think it does to me. Here the aces are just 1. You can see the 10 of wands is really wide away. So you can also make that link with the Rider-Waite on some of the cards. Anyway, moving on. And the last one, I have to plunge there to go and get it. Right, it's the Spiel Tarot. I've had it since it came out. It's one of my favorite. It's a photography deck. It's a Pip deck, photography. So they made it in a very interesting way. I'll always have this deck. You know, I've been through phases where I just want to sell all my decks, but this is one that I will always have because it ticks a few boxes for me. It was produced by Spiel. it's artistic, it's photography, it's quirky, it's got a lot. So Spill is a collaboration, artistic collaboration um, in the UK. And they made this tarot in 2009. So that's the booklet here. It's a little bit hard to open. I really have to force it open. But once again, that's a detail. The people on the cards are real people. They're real artists, and this is what I really appreciate. Is that when let's take any card, for example. What am I going to show you so you can see? Yeah, my favorite, the Empress, for example. Here she is. Right, so that's the backs, by the way. The cardstock is thick. It's thick but nice, you know. It's very shiny, but it doesn't bother me. Of course, if it was matte, I think it would have been. But for photography, it's different than drawings, isn't it? And I think shiny suits it for photography. So you see how thick it is, huh? But it's not thick like it's not agreeable to touch. On the contrary, because it's so soft with the shine on it. So anyway, let's go back. So it's fully reversible at the back, right? So that's the Empress, and it's Grace Ellen Barkey. She was born in Indonesia, so there's her biography here, and then they say where she played or what she did artistically wise, and then there is her contact details, for example. So I do like that. It's really, they went further, and they are promoting the artist in a fantastic way. So I'll show you more major arcanas. That's the Hermit. So obviously it's not a whitewash deck either. There's all type of people because they're all artists. Look at that strength. Oh, one of the rare strength cards I like. And the Wheel of Fortune. Now for the elements, so that's a wand, but they didn't just choose one type, as you'll see. That's another wand, right? I find it fantastic. It's just so creative, such a wonderful deck. Now I paid full price for it, and I saw last year when I did some more research on it that it went half price. So I suppose, I don't know if it's still half price now. For example, the Pentacles. So it's like that treasure there, isn't it? You search for treasure. Here you're looking more into the issue and you're putting all your findings together. I love these cards. My favorite are cups, though. All the cups that went beyond, right? So I'm going to be using these decks, and not only for March of the Pips, because I've got a case full of them. But these are my favorite Pip decks I have, really. That's the rare page where there's hands, there's human body parts on it. Look, for example, the Knight of Swords, right? There is an... I don't know. There's really something about this deck. So some images are a bit more... I don't know, like the Magician. I'll show it to you, but I warn you, it's a bit, out there. Right. They seem to really know about tarot and embody it nicely. It's plastic knives for the Eight of Swords. I love Judgment too. I mean, if you like, I know there's a few photography decks. I think it's the only one I have, as in pure photography, right? Because some are mixed media where they put real people that they photograph, but this was just the photography. And I went to an exhibition at the Barbican at the time where they had them like big sized, and oh, it was wonderful. That's why I bought the deck. The tower. And more nudity. But you know, it's not cheap nudity. You don't see everything anyway. Look at that Two of Cups now. It's like the two glasses are flirting with each other. It's really sweet. Or the Seven of Pentacles. It's like, why? It's a why, isn't it? And that Two of Swords. These old pair of scissors. I don't know everything like that sword. I mean, I'm sure it's a historical type of sword. I don't know about. I'm not sure if they mentioned it in the booklet. Let's see. So the Queen of Swords. What it is exactly? No, they didn't. So for the miners, you would have a general page like this, talking about what swords are, and then a description of the cards upright and reversed. So once again, I don't feel this is a beginner's deck because it's so different. But as I said, straightforward pip decks for me, I find, I don't know. It doesn't trigger my imagination. It's a lot of learning. And I'm not against learning. It's just that I'd rather use my imagination if I can when I read. So, you know, I don't have that many tarot books, for example. Look at that Knight of Cups, right? Oh, I could show them all to you. It's right, I think I'm gonna stop it there because this video is going to be too long again, as usual. And well, I'll see you all for March of the Tips, which I will do. I'll see if I do a video every day because I've got quite a lot of going on for the moment. But I haven't done a challenge for a while. I've done a couple of video responses, but you know, I feel like it's time to do a challenge. I'm really going to show you all the cards. I'll stop here. So I hope you did enjoy these, and we'll all share this love really for some peep decks in March all together. So see you soon. Bye bye.